Have you ever heard the tale of the green lightning machine that just kills everything? No, I'm not talking about a green Pikachu. I'm talking about Zeri and how hellish she made our lives this split. So I promised you a deep dive, and it's time to talk some TSM. That is right. Welcome back, everybody. And yes, I'm not kidding. We're going to talk about Zeri. And, I don't want to spend too much time on this screen because, well, I got an early question for you. Question of the day is, how much do you hate Zeri? Do you hate Zeri more than Yumi, more than old Zoe? I don't know why most of these champions have Y, Z, end of the alphabet letter type names, but she seemingly was the bane of our existence. So let me know in the comments section below, what you think of her. And if this is actually true, I'm going to tell you today whether or not, statistically at least, she's actually was that much of a menace to us. So, yeah, we'll see if maybe it's just all a figment of our imagination or not. Anyways, quick reminder, this is a not safe for work podcast on this, well, I guess, specific part of it. Just more because you're going to see this. Zeri. This seemingly, you know, I don't know, little rambunctious teenager running around Zon who zaps everything and is supposed to be fighting crime and is somehow able to skate around on everything with, I don't know, I guess these are sandal boots. I don't know what they exactly would be called, but she looks innocent enough outside of her big gun that has like two pistons on the side, um, clearly made out of scrap metal. But she looks very just fine. Like you're like, oh, okay, cool. Like I remember her coming out. I was like, oh, this could be a really fun and interesting champion. And then in the first few, in the first split specifically, she basically set the record for pentakills. So yeah, and it just feels like she's never bad realistically. She's either, well, very very bad, or she's very very good, and it feels like her balancing is tough. It's very tough. So yeah, we're gonna dive into statistically what she did in just the LCS this split. Okay. So the top is regular season, the bottom is playoffs. During the regular season, she was played in 36 games. That is 38.7% of all games. She was picked or banned in 75%, so 3 out of 4 games. Only Caitlyn had higher at 76.3 because I guess a lot of people just really felt like she was so OP that they couldn't counter her. And so lo and behold, a 76.3% for Caitlyn. She had only had a 50% win rate, which is very interesting. I wonder. I wasn't able to obviously dive into every single game that she was played. These stats coming from Oracle's Elixir, by the way. Make sure you guys go check out that website. It's got great information for us. Thank you again to Tim for providing such a great resource. But 50% win is not enough, at least in pro play generally, for people to feel like she would need a nerf. But when you look at everything else, you're kind of like, maybe there were other things going on that was keeping her from being a much higher win rate. Her KDA was a 5.7. She had 174 kills, 54 deaths, and 132 assists. Sivir had the next highest KDA at 4.2 in only 10 games. Anything below that I didn't really count. Ezreal also had a really ridiculous KDA. I think it was like 17 or something like that because he only died 5 times in 8 games, but he really wasn't played very much, and that's kind of how you play Ezreal. So he's not much of a he wasn't as much of a threat. What's crazy, and you guys know I love kill participation, 73.6% kill participation. Sivir was the highest at 73.9% in 10 games. And she has an ultimate that gives everybody a speed boost and allows her to instantly get, an assist at least. So she plays a little bit easier in the KDA department and or in the kill participation department and in the KDA department. Yet the KDA was higher because Sivir died more, essentially. Last is 10.2 CS per minute. Jinx was the highest at 10.3, but in only 8 games. Now, Jinx will come into the playoffs in a much stronger state than what was seen during the regular season. But during the regular season, Zeri was a menace. She was a kill machine. She was involved in a lot of kills, right? So it wasn't like she was just like, I don't know, getting cleanup kills and stuff like that. Like she was there. Her kill participation was extremely high. If the team was winning, essentially, she was one of the main causes for it. And she could CS as well as anybody else in the game. There was not a weakness. Now in the playoffs, things got a little bit better. She was picked in 16 games, which is 76% of the games, which is crazy. Her pick ban was about 75, 76%, right? Her win rate was 50%. Again, not really a cause for concern. Her KDA and everything did kind of balance out a little bit more, 53, 33, and 72. I think most of that's just because people were playing maybe a little bit more safely, taking less risks with her around. And then you had people who were jumping in, I won't name names, but just jumping into the middle of team fights with her and not getting any kills. So, yeah. But her kill participation was still very high at a 71.4%, and her CS per minute only dropped by 0.3. So, I mean, you could see even from this, she was a menace. In 3/4 of the game, she had some sort of priority, that is what is more concerning to me than win percentage, because you can have people who play her poorly and she's just not all that great, right? And we will see that even in our games, where certain individuals who are not maybe as highly ranked as others picked her, and she was not all that effective, but in other games, she was extremely effective. And here's where the real and not safe for work part comes in. If you are a TSM fan and you don't want to relive these these statistics and these games, I would say wait for the next episode. But if you are a glutton for pain like myself, then we are gonna move on. She was played in 7 games, either one time for us and 6 times against us. Here's how it broke down. On February 3rd, 2023, our first game against Header Thieves, Doublelift decided to pop off 8-2-7 with 337 CS. Then, not even a full week later, Berserker, 12 kills, 1 death, 8 assists in our it was our first game against Cloud9. 349 CS, and a pentakill, if you remember, by the Dragon. Yes, it was a very sad time and one that hurt quite a lot. The very next day, a full week after Doublelift, we did get our first win against Luger in CLG. In terms of, it was our first win against them, and it was our first win against Zeri. 233-275. Okay, he was pretty much rendered useless, but the rest of the team had played very well in that game as well. It wasn't necessarily anything Zeri could have done in that game. A week later, about a week specifically after the Berserker game, which this was the first game, I believe, of the week 4, what's it called? Super Week, okay? Stixay and Golden Guardians smacked us for 10 kills, no deaths, and 2 assists, 340 CS. I remember this game very well, too. It was just like he was getting double and triple kills. Basically, every fight that he was in, we seemingly didn't focus him at all, and he just got the free fire. Then, a couple weeks later, after not seeing her, Wild Turtle brings her out, okay? On March 2nd, I think this was his first game with the team. 477 CS, by the way, which was the highest CS total that I could find. And it was a very long game where we just didn't do anything, and he just kind of sat there and tried to farm and do his best. Was a loss for us. Then the very next day against Team Liquid, a TSM win, by the way, a very important one if you remember. Jan went 131, 296. He had no impact in the game at all. That was the least impactful week for us with the Zeri involved. And then, in the very last game of the season, when our backs were against the wall, we needed a win, a second win over FlyQuest. Prince pulls out the Zeri, our nemesis. 801, 306, and his only pentakill of the regular season. Now, obviously, we didn't play in the playoffs, but here was her overall stats against us. 41 kills, 9 deaths, 22 assists for a 7 KDA. 317.167 CS per game, 2 pentakills. We went 2-4 against her with a 2-5 record if you count the Wild Turtle game that we lost, meaning that she was involved and we lost, right? Guys, I mean, just listen, I understand that there are a lot of other things, right, that play into a game. And truly, we did get 2 wins, but they were against Luger and Jan, people who are not, 2 players who are not as highly rated during the regular season, right? Doublelift, Berserker, Stixay, and Prince, right? Those are 3 teams right now in FlyQuest, Golden Guardians, and Cloud9 who are all heading to Raleigh. They are all going to play for a chance to go to MSI. Okay? Doublelift was arguably, at least in my opinion, a top 3 AD carry in the LCS during the regular season. Actually, I think the top 3 AD carries all played Zeri against us once this split. Doublelift, Berserker, and Prince. I think probably in that, flip that order. You know, Prince, Berserker, Doublelift. That's kind of about where I would have put them, right? I am just baffled at, we just let them full on hard carry against us. And part of that was, I think, especially early on, our inability to play her. Neo's decision not to really play her. And then you see we have like little breaks here and there of a couple weeks where we don't play against her or use her. That's because we were mostly banning her. She was a menace, to say the least. Again, letting maybe lesser AD carries, which I still think Luger and Jan have chances to be much better than what they showed during the split, especially Luger, to be honest with you. But against some of the better ones, which Stixay, we couldn't have predicted Stixay being as good as he was. But some of the rest of them, we just struggled. We just struggled, to say the least. And, with that, the last bit here I'm going to talk about is our boy Chawi. Now, Chawi doesn't have a lot of support this split. He's coming up. And, I would like to offer this show, to you, Chawi, to just say, if Zeri's in the meta, please ban her. Please just get her out of the games, right? Unless there's something else is just really that much more OP, just be done with her. Be gone with her. I'm hoping by the time that you guys play next that she will no longer be in the meta, but I don't know. She was not the main cause of our losses this year, but she certainly didn't help. She was involved in 5 of our 10 losses and 2 of our 6 wins. So her involvement was quite substantial, and I would prefer not to see her at all, preferably. Because while Turtle, even with his massive CS lead, or not even lead, just massive amount of CS, still was not able to carry that game, that unfortunate loss. And when we did play against her, if it was against one of the better AD carries in the league, we struggled. So let's just take her out. Let's just be gone with her. I know you're not going to have a support staff with you, but, hopefully random things like this will help you. But no, in all seriousness, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. It was a little bit of satire to a certain extent, but she really was a problem for us. And I know that a lot of you had questions about how impactful really was she against us. Well, now we know the answer. So let me know in the comment section below. Do you guys really think that we should be banning her, trying to maybe hopefully have Wild Turtle, learn her to where she can be, a little bit more effective for us instead of against us. I don't know. I mean, she is clearly a problem. Like, she is setting pentakill records basically every split. The only two splits that she's been in so far. So I'm really hoping that they're going to nerf her. I went back and even looked at the last couple patch notes. They did not nerf her at all yet this year. So I know she's exciting. I know she's interesting, but I really do hope that they change the AD carry pool up at least a little bit, because right now it's just really tough to watch, Zeri come in and just be in Menace basically every game. So, yeah, with that, I'll catch you guys on the next one.